Convo.
Our eyes and pretending that stuff is not happening.
Yeah.
Because it's what got us in this situation in the first place.
Yeah.
It did. Because we have all pretended that behaviors were not occurring.
Yeah.
We've all pretended that, oh, well, that's just. Oh, well, that's just. Sometimes you do need to temper your tongue. And the Lord is telling you to shut up. Keep the mouth shut. Mm-hmm. And then sometimes the Lord is saying you need to say something and you still aren't. I said, I'm done. We had a conversation last year at your homecoming.
Yes.
I had a phone call with him and I told him, I said, I have the release to release you. I will still pray for you. I will still, because I believe that only the Lord can change a person. Mm-hmm. Like, I can't change your heart. Mm-hmm. I can't make anybody different or new, or I don't have the ability. The Lord is transforming me. I'm in process. I can't put somebody else in process as well before I'm done. You know what I mean?
It's you gotta put your face mask on first.
I have to put my face mask on first. It is an emergency. And I'm just hooking up to my own flotation device. I cannot help y'all.
Yeah.
In that way. Now, I cannot save you. I'm in process. So I told him that. And then when he came around, I was like, you want me to put the mask on for you before I put it on for me? You want me to put on bondage that I already told you I was free from?
Yeah.
And I felt disrespected because we, one, had already had a conversation about that. Two, I felt like it was audacious because I felt like it was selfish. I felt like it was self-centered. I felt like it was inconsiderate. And I told him that. But I also, again, in that moment, said all those things. And I was very clear about where I stood. I prayed about it. I was like, Lord, in the moment, I'm like, Lord, help me to say the right things. Because I don't want to have somebody's heart be in the wrong place or whatever. Lord, use me the way you want me to. And then the week later, I had dinner with a friend. She's like I said, the fruit of the Spirit operating in their life. That's what you need to be praying for. I said, thank you. I needed to hear that. Because there's two sides to the coin. There's the one where you see somebody doing something and you're like, do better. Make better choices. Not because I think you're a terrible person or you're horrible or anything like that. Because I want you to have a good life. Mm-hmm. Everything that you're doing is making your life more complicated than it has to be. The choices that you're making are creating hardships that you don't have to face. Life is hard enough without you making it harder. Mm-hmm. When you get to the point where you say, look, I've released that. I don't have control over that. But the Lord can heal anything. Mm-hmm. He can fix anything. He can restore anything. I believe that. So I'm praying on that. I'm standing on that. Yes. So I'm like, Lord, do you? Mm-hmm. I have liberty in that situation. And like I said, I still felt bad for the young lady because I really felt like she was done a disservice. Yeah. And obviously, I think that we've had an opportunity to be able to build bridges and things like that now that we know. Mm-hmm. More details and the baby's already been delivered. Is adorable, cute. Obviously, she loves me. Like,
no, she doesn't. I'm her favorite.
When you hear a lie of the enemy try to rise up, and you just say, she does love you. She does.
I am the favorite.
I think so, and I will say, I will admit, I am not very busty, and she does love to place her cheek on a bosom. I am not very busty. It is a harder situation for her to deal with than in my arms. But I can guarantee when she comes of the age where she's a little bit more mobile. Yeah. Again, like I said, when she can support her own neck. Yeah. You will be replaced.
I do not think so.
It doesn't. Actually, you know what? Remember when Troy was in the womb? Yes. And no one knew they were like, is it a boy or a girl? And I was like, he's a boy. Mm-hmm. And I was like, this is what his name is going to be. Yes. And everybody was like, no, you don't know what you're talking about. And I had such an assurity. Yeah. That is true. And it was true. And the Lord brought it to fruition. As I speak to you now on this podcast, on this 28th day of October, you are going to be replaced as the favorite soon and very soon, and that will not change. It's in me to be loved by my nieces and nephews. So it's going to happen.
I want to tell you.
She loves you. She will always love you. You're going to be that aunt that's like, oh my gosh, she's regal. She's amazing. She's fabulous. Oh my gosh, she does things, all those stuff. But when I tell you there's just a gentle place in her heart that is for me. You remember how Mama Weary will always tell you guys, she's not my favorite. Like, I love you all. Like,
yes.
She would say that.
Yes.
She meant it in her heart, but there was just a special place within her.
Yes.
That was me.
Yes.
It's the same. It's the same. And I don't want to hurt anybody, but I have to let you know in advance so that root of bitterness can't spring up.
You're doing all this talking, Carmen, but
What?
I am going to be the favorite.
You'll be the favorite uncle, for sure.
You'll be the
uncle. For real? You will be the favorite uncle. I will be the favorite. Period. And again, for different children, it's different
you know
things.
what? I'm going to actually tell you who is
Yes.
going to be the favorite.
You think Rachel?
Daddy.
But he's a grandfather. He will be that. That's different. That's the whole other territory. I don't touch that. Grandparents, I don't touch that. You have that. That's where you dwell.
No, I know Rachel is just going to be the aunt that cooks and feeds her and everything. But I really believe, Carmen, I am her favorite.
You are. Actually, I'm not disputing that.
You have a special place in her heart.
Listen to me. You could literally fly with that baby.
Yes.
You could get on a flight
Yes.
with an infinite arms ticket.
Yes.
Fly wherever you wanted to go. And she would not wake up. She would not be disturbed. When her ears pop, she would go a little bit and then she would get back nestled in. When I tell you, that's the kind of connection you can calm and soothe her. Like, oh, that's that peaceful connection that you guys have, share, and will continue to have through time. I'm just telling you, I just got it like that.
Okay.
Like, that isn't even pride. That's in humility. I say that from just the most purest place.
Yeah.
I already know. I can already almost tangibly feel the connection that we're going to have when she. Like I said, I don't have it to offer now. She's tied to, she's breastfed, so she's tied to that build. She knows there's nothing I can offer her by way of a meal. She knows there's no chance for her to suckle on anything. There's no latching over here. There's nothing to latch on. She knows that. But once she starts to be able to tell, really get into that personality. Because as you know,
she is
she
like
and I
you.
are already very similar. She has standards. She has poise.
Yeah.
She has
She's a
values. She has modesty.
Yeah.
She and I are very similar already in nature. We have a connection.
Yeah.
So like I said, you will always have these first few months. You will always have those to look back on. And as she continues to grow, you'll have that. But oh my gosh, I just know that she will just love me. Because at this age, children don't really know. They know. They can sense. They can sense. Good people, bad, but they have those senses. But they don't know how to really. Their bare necessities have to be getting taken care of. Feeding, changing, sleeping. Is when they start to be able to, have desires beyond necessity. Mm-hmm. Oh my goodness.
Yes. Well, she is adorable, and she's very cute.
Yes.
But I think that it has been a blessing to our family.
Yes.
For that, I do believe that it can spark reconciliation. I think it can spark a different way of thought. Yep. And I was watching something today, and a man, he was saying that when he had his daughter, it helped to change some of the characteristics that he had in himself because of the responsibility he felt towards her and how he did not want her to experience some of the things that he may have put other people through.
Yeah.
And so he wanted to change his actions and give her a better role model to look up to. And I saw that really blessed me. And so I took that to heart. But there's a lot of different things that God has shown me and that I've been praying for in this whole entire situation. And you're right. Like, that situation, we had that conversation with him. And I think what Troy was saying was true, that situation just exacerbated what some of the feelings that I had towards actions that had happened earlier in the year and then in the previous year and all the years. But I didn't really, a lot of times I don't externalize things, I internalize things. And so it's like, how can I have better assisted
what?
Assisted you to not be that way? What steps could I have taken? Like, it don't have nothing to do with me. But I would take on that responsibility and internalize it. And I guess that could be kind of narcissistic if you think about it. But
like, I made you this way. And you're
not even that I made you this way, but like how could I have better if I had to said this one thing, then maybe you wouldn't have acted like this. Or
you know what? I had very similar thoughts. And I was like,
or if I had of talked to you in this manner, or if I called you and checked up on you, it's a two-way street. Like, it's a lot of different things. But I think also when you were like, God had given you release to be free and to let him be God.
Yes.
When you had, and it was like, I can't be in charge of everything. I thought back to January 2024 and how God really allowed me to get free, because I was grieving a lot of different things because of some things that had happened with Paul. And so I had gotten free from that stuff, like grieving that and my ideas and thoughts of who he was as a person, and seeing the reality of different decisions that he had made, and walking those out and trusting the Lord to be God in his life, and knowing that it's his choice to do something. And Daddy told me something one time that was so crazy, and it was like, that's rude. But he was like, he's like, I love y'all so much. He said, and I really want to see y'all in heaven when I die, and when y'all go on to be with the Lord in whatever capacity that y'all do that. He said, but my tears will be wiped away if y'all don't be there.
Oh no. Oh my gosh.
But essentially he was like, I hope y'all are there.
Yeah.
But if y'all aren't,
yeah,
God will give me joy.
Neither will there be any more.
Like I'm not gonna be crying for you, and I'm not gonna be thinking about y'all no more. I'm in heaven with God.
Yeah.
My thoughts of that time will have me, at this moment in time, I will be grieved because you did not make it. But at that time, he's like, I will be there. Hopefully you will be too. That was the sentiment he gave me. And so I had to get to the place where I'm like, God, I got to work out my salvation with fear and trembling. So I can't 100%. Think about all the things that you do, whether you want to show up or not, if you want to be selfish or not, if you want to walk out the way that you want to walk your salvation out. I have to think, am I doing things that are pleasing to God? If I'm not, God, cleanse me of those things, refine me, take me into new depths of you, clean out the things, heal me in the places that I'm hurt, take out the places that there may be roots of bitterness and I don't know about, the things that subconsciously are affecting me. Unforgiveness, if there's any unforgiveness, show me the unforgiveness so that I can forgive, so then you can forgive me, because you literally said, if you
forgive your trespass,
you can't. I can't come before you if my brother has aught against me, and I have aught against him. I got to go to him first before I bring my things to the altar and to bring it before you. So if I am doing that, if I'm believing and I'm trusting in that, I have to be in a place to say, I forgive this moment in time. I forgive this place of frustration. And so I have to be forgiven of the yard sale. I got to be forgiven of, because the thing is, nobody really did anything to me. There was nothing that was done to me in that moment.
Yeah.
But there was still a responsibility placed on me in that weekend that I was just like, I didn't ask for this.
Yeah.
But I realized that as the oldest sibling and as the oldest sister, there was still, even though y'all make fun of me for telling y'all what to do and maneuvering in different ways and all this kind of stuff, there is still a responsibility that is on me as the eldest to do certain things.
And you know what? I think that can be true. Mm-hmm. And I think there's also a degree of taking on things that we do. Because like even myself, I was like thinking about some things in my youth. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I did so much stuff and took on so much responsibility, self-imposed.
Yeah.
Like I was like, nobody asked me to do that. And now mind you, did I think it was going to get done if I didn't do it? Maybe not. But I still took those things on. And I think that's when it comes down to the place where you really have to be tempered by the Lord, because your natural characteristics can come out and you'll take on responsibility for things that were never yours to be responsible for. Mm-hmm. Now, I do think that as the oldest, there are a lot of things. Like, I even be like, Ashley, get yourself together. We're going on a trip. You need to be on it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, can you please look around, ma'am? Like, instead of let my hair down a little bit and relax, you watch as security. Yeah. But I think that can also be conditioning with time. Yeah. But I also think some things do fall on you as well. Mm-hmm. And so you're like, I have to be responsible because a lot of responsibility was placed on you from a parental standpoint. Mm-hmm. And so it has carried on into your adult life. But I also think that sometimes, again, when your parents are placing responsibility on you, they're giving that responsibility to you. When you're out living your life, you take on responsibility for other people and other people's stuff and your adult siblings' stuff. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, but sometimes you have to be in prayer and be like, Lord, do you want me to be taking that on? Mm-hmm. Because you and I have even had conversation where I'm like, you're like, I cannot believe they did not put her through that training. She deserved to be in that training. I'm like, did she talk to her boss about getting on that training track? Or did you just feel like you had to advocate for her? Because, and again, I do think that you are called, believers, you are called to really advocate for the people who can't for themselves, for people who, you know, the poor and the weak and all of those kinds of things. But sometimes that's not the testimony. That's not the path the Lord is giving you. That's not your ministry. Sometimes it's not your ministry and you're taking it on. You're like, actually, this mantle has been bestowed on me. And you've actually picked up somebody else's loose cloth and just try to put it on as a mantle. And so I think sometimes you have to temper your natural characteristics too, because some things are conditioning, and then other things are your natural bend. And so because I know I can be the kind of person who's like, oh, we're not doing it that way that I wanted it to go. Oh, then why am I here? Why am I here? And in some situations that serves me well. Get out. In other situations, the Lord is like, yeah, it's not going to be your way. And you need to ask me if you need to be there. And I still want you to be there, even though it's a hot mess express. I still want you to be there so that I can refine you and refine the situation. And so you have to really be like, Lord, where do you want me to be? Because responsibility is a real thing. But a lot of times we take on responsibility and weight and pressure and things that the Lord is like, actually, I want her to cast her cares on me, not on you. But you got in the way, and now the cares are on you, and now you're bogged down. And now you casting your cares and Tina's cares on the Lord, you know? And it's like, all you should have been responsible for your own. Yeah. And so I think that sometimes we take on so much that we don't need to.
Yeah. I think that is truly is where we are and where God has. I think that, like, from there, so July that was the beginning of July.
Yes.
Take us through to present day and where you are right now on October 28th.
Okay, July, August. Again, I say this. Maybe I've always been like, what did I do the previous month or whatever? But I feel like I really have been very flippant with, like, it happened, it's the past, I'm out of it. Mm-hmm. And so I genuinely don't know. August, your birthday, Troy. We didn't do anything. I don't think I went anywhere or anything in August.
September you took off though.
Yeah, September we were on a cruise, weren't we?
We went on
Well, you went to Chile.
Chile.
Oh my gosh, yes. August, I didn't do anything, and I was really happy because I was like, I didn't want to go. I'm telling y'all, I've been like, oh, I need to just be. I'm not going to be doing that much traveling this year is what I thought. I've literally been on just about every other month. Seems like I'm on somebody's plane, and I'm going somewhere. So August, I don't think I did anything. It was a pretty calm month by way of that. September, we were planning a retreat for our book club. And we were like, we wanted to be the first week in September because one of the girls in the book club was saying that she was going to be off those dates. And so we didn't want to conflict with her schedule. And she had another trip coming up with her family that she didn't want to interfere with. So we determined the first week of the month was going to be the best time.
And she also didn't want to do it on a Saturday.
Yeah, she wanted to go to church.
Because she wanted to be at church. Because she was involved there.
Yes, exactly. So we were like, we had a very condensed window of time that we could actually do it in. So we're like, this is perfect. So we were like, okay. So we do some research. I send some things over. And I'm like, this is where we can stay. But the drive is going to be this much. It's going to cost this much. What are y'all's thoughts? And it just kind of fizzled. Like, it was like we have it as an option. But nobody really pulled the trigger to commit.
And the price was seeming like it was going to be so expensive just for 3 days.
Yeah, it was not. Now, I did look for luxury homes.
Yeah.
But it did not. It was still the same price as non-luxury homes.
Yes.
But it was not a dirt cheap trip.
Yeah.
And so, especially for only 3 days. Mm-hmm. So we were like, okay, well, I guess we're not going to do anything. So in August, one of our friends in the book club, she texts us and she's like, look, I picked up a trip. She's a flight attendant.
London.
She said, I picked up a trip to London. No, she said London or Chile. Which one do y'all want to go to? Well, I've never been to London and I want to go to London. I still want to go to London. But everybody else voted for Chile. And so I was like, and she was like, I knew you were going to say London. So, because I never wanted to go to Chile. And so she was like, okay, so she's like, I'm going on this date. If y'all want to come, I have the hotel. Just
get the flight.
Get y'all's flight. So we've talked about it before. Our dad worked for Delta, so we get either some of us fly free, some of us fly at a discounted rate. So we were like, okay, we can do it. So we all get it together. We take off the dates. And literally, we go, the dates we had planned for the retreat are the dates we end up going for this new retreat in Chile. So we go to Chile. We're there. We're, exploring the city. We only have a condensed amount of time, but we get to go around, see quite a bit. I actually really enjoyed Chile. It was different than I imagined it would be. Like, I never really thought about going there, but when we got there, it was really a city. Like, it wasn't...
It was nice.
It was nice. It felt totally different than I imagined. And then, although I had no expectations, but it just didn't... I didn't have a real picture in my mind, but when I saw it, I was like, I don't think this is what I thought it would be like. The food was amazing. I've been trying to get an empanada ever since we got back. It was so good. I mean, I can still feel the crunch of the empanada.
Steak was huge.
Everything was gigantic and cheap. Like, everything you could eat, everything you could buy was massive. And because of the exchange rates or whatever, it was not expensive at all. Like, regular meals here, a $200 dinner that you would maybe go out for 4 people will cost you, what, $50? $75? Mm-hmm. It was so good. We had, but besides the place, during that time, we had such a good experience. We had such good conversation. We had really an opportunity to just really grow closer as a group and to really just rejoice in what the Lord has been doing in our lives. Like really seeing his hand in the way that he has been orchestrating things, in the way that he's been changing our hearts and growing us through time and just blessing us and having mercy on us and then we were able to pray for each other in a way that was just, I don't even remember what we said in our prayers, but the Lord was moving on that trip the whole time. Like when we got on our flight, we were on first class. We literally were just going. We were like, the flight looks good. We'll get on. We were in first class going, all of us. When we got there, the hotel was like central location. It was beautiful. And I had been praying because I was like, I don't know if I want to go or not. I don't know if I want to go. My mom was like, you better go to Chile. I would go if it were me. And I was like, yeah, but. And she was like, you have money, go. And I was like, but, because, my inner, I can be a little frugal. And so she was like, you should go. So what I ended up going. And the Lord I was like, Lord, if I go, just, make it be a good, a good experience, a good trip, and just have your way in that. And he really did. And it was so good. It was refreshing. We were there it was really 3 days like our original trip was. It was 3 days. They were on the same time zone as us, so it wasn't like we had to have jet lag. And it was refreshing. We went, it was refreshing. And then after that, we went somewhere else in September. Was that our cruise?
That was our cruise.
So we ended up going to Alaska
and Canada.
The following week. We came back
the week that our niece was born, that Friday.
Oh yeah. So when the baby was born, we were on a cruise.
We weren't on a cruise.
We were in Seattle.
No. Troy went to the hospital and was there when she was.
Oh my gosh, where was I working?
Yes.
Oh, makes sense because I had already taken off a week and a half or whatever. So we were literally, she was born that week. We left that Friday. We go on this cruise. You guys, I've been wanting to go to Alaska. That was a place that I've wanted to go for so long. I was like, oh my gosh, I want to get to Alaska. Alaska was beautiful. Like, Juneau was my favorite. It was a cruise. I do not like cruises. I have not liked cruises forever. Like, for years. But I knew going to Alaska, there are a couple places that I know you can see more if you go on a cruise. And I was like, okay, I'm willing to suck it up and go on a cruise to go to Alaska. I get motion sickness in a car. So if I get like that in the backseat of a car, just imagine a boat. I was chomping on ginger chews. I was laid up a lot. I was in the bed a lot. I was like, can we dog? One of our stops got canceled. Wow, it was the most jiggly water. It was really bad. But God sustained me. I mean, he really, really, really was so gracious to me.
And that was one of the best cruises ever for my weight. I lost 10 to 15 pounds on that boat.
The food wasn't bad, but I just was not hungry.
But I was eating like, it must have been like Weight Watchers food. Because
Ozempic on the food.
Because we got back home and my mom was like, y'all look like y'all have just lost.
Everybody lose weight.
She said, y'all have just gotten skinny. It was not that bad. It wasn't like that. Carmen looked like all her clothes had fallen off her. And me, I now looked almost back to where I normally was. It wasn't all the way back, but I was almost back.
But it was because in addition to literally being just holding on to the mattress every night and just praising the Lord for his grace, to sustain us. In addition to that, we were hiking every day. So, like, we went to Mount Rainier in Seattle the first day.
Yeah.
Like, when we first got there, we were there for 2 days. We went to Mount Rainier, did a hike. So, anything you ate, you were essentially walking off, burning off, hiking it off. We were doing that, walking that giant ship. We were walking that every 5 seconds. It was, if we were up, we were walking. Mm-hmm. And so, we were going. Very, outside of the times where I was laid up, it was not very sedentary.
No.
So, and again, like I said, I wasn't very hungry, so I wasn't necessarily eating that much, but I still was eating. Mm-hmm. And you ate regular 3 meals a day or whatever, but you didn't feel like I needed to have it in excess or whatever, even though it was tons of food.
But I think, you know what? I think what's crazy is, like, if I'm trying to get better about it at home.
Yeah.
But on that ship, I realized that I did. I ate 3 full meals a day, and I didn't have really many snacks.
And you
in
also
between.
went to sleep. I guess you and Shelby stayed up.
No, we stayed. I never went to bed before
Troy
like
and I
2 o'clock.
always go to sleep at a pretty reasonable hour when we vacation. It's just how we roll.
It was like 2,
But
3 o'clock.
the times did keep changing on the cruise, so we never really knew what time of day it was.
Y'all
Like,
just
we
got
went to
tired and
breakfast
just-
one day, we were like, "Oh, we're late," and it was like, "No, it's actually rolled back an hour." So we never really knew what time it was, and we didn't have cell service, so we didn't know what. But while I'm on the cruise, I get a message from my job, so I forgot. So the week before that, my boss's boss had called me, and she was like, "I need to have a meeting with you." And I was like, "Oh Lord," because I've worked for the company for going on 4 years. She and I have maybe spoken 5 times, and so I was like, "What does she want?" Because whenever we have conversation, it's not necessarily bad, but it's never just to talk. And so she was like, "Okay." So I hop on a call with her. She's like, "Look, you have a choice. You can either go to stay where you are within the organization, or you can move to a different department that you previously interviewed for." So last year, almost exactly a year now, I had interviewed for another job within the company, and they told me that I was perfect. And honestly, this is the worst feedback you can give somebody in general, because that's oftentimes what you receive, but it really isn't true, because if it was, then you would get it. Well, I had applied for the job. I interviewed for it. They were like, "You have all the credentials. We were going to hire internal. If we decided to hire internal the way we committed we were going to, we would have gone with you. But we decided to change our minds and change what we said we were going to do, and we're going to hire externally. And we're hiring people who already have this job title at their current companies. So the only reason you're not going to be able to get this job is because you don't already have this job. So if you had it, then you would have been perfect. But because you don't have it, you can't have it." And so, but the thing is that in me going in that, before I had even interviewed for the job, applied to the job, any of those things, I had been in prayer. I was like, "Lord, is this the job you would have me to apply for?" I mean, I really was hesitant. I was like, "I don't know if I need to put in for this," because that year I had been going through my year-end review with my boss, and she essentially said, because you applied to a position that was not in line with what your career trajectory is, you're not going to receive a promotion, an inline promotion. Now everything you've been doing is exactly on par. You qualified to move up, but because you haven't really shown true dedication and commitment to the team, you're not going to be moving up. So I was like, okay, whatever. So I said, that is what it is. So then I was like, should I apply to this role? Because I don't want to, one, apply for it and not get it, and then it's held against me again, future state. But also, if I apply and get it, I literally was really honest with the Lord. I said, "Lord, if I apply to this job and they offer it to me, I'm going to say yes." I said, "If you don't want me to have the job and you don't want me to take it, you're going to have to close the door, because if they offer it to me, I'm not strong enough. I know where I am in my walk." You know how people they be like, "The Lord told me to say no." Like, I've heard people say that, and they're like, "The Lord told me to say no." I was like, "Lord, I need you to make it not an option for me. Because if you allow it to be an option, I'm going to take that option." And so I applied, get through the whole process. They're like, it was several rounds of interviews. And so I went, they were like, "Hey, I want to connect with you. You were the top, internal candidate, but we decided to go the other way." I was like, cool. Like, I didn't have anything to lose. I didn't have anything to gain. I prayed about it to say, "Lord, do you want me to apply?" I prayed about it to say, "Lord, if you don't want me to have it, close that door," whatever that looks like. And I kept it moving. So then I go through the process again. And so I'm just like, okay, I'm dedicated to where I'm at. I'm like, this is where I am. I need to focus, drill down, and keep it moving. And so I'm like, "Lord, please help me to steward well what you have for me. Just I believe you gave me this job. I believe you've given me, for whatever your reasoning is, I don't believe that you have me here for no reason. So I was like, Lord, please just help me to do well with it. And so my boss is throwing me these accounts that, I really felt like it was sabotage, because it would be like, this account is on, it's, it's a stool, but all of its legs are gone except for one. We want you to just get in there and help it. And I'm like, but y'all have burned these accounts down and they're in a horrible position. Mm-hmm. And you want me to come in and do what? And so they pair me with other account managers. So like they have tiers. So there's like a corporate and then the local. And so they would pair me with the corporate and I would be the local contact. And so I would essentially build relationships with the domestic people in the U.S. Mm-hmm. And so when I tell y'all, I was like, look, I have done nothing. I get on the account. My name gets tied to it. I don't do anything. I don't meet anybody. They're like, we're now awarded new business. It was on this last leg. I said, yeah, I think the account is about to be shut down. Like, literally what I tell my boss.
Yeah.
I was like, they're not wanting to grow with us. Mm-hmm. Somebody who used to work somewhere else mm-hmm. got hired at the company. Mm-hmm. And he liked one of the ladies who worked in our company. Mm-hmm. And so he was like, I want to give y'all some business, but y'all have to come with some good offers. So we said, okay. So then I'm in Los Angeles going to meet the customer, going all around, traveling all around the U.S. to meet these customers. And so I go to this meeting. I'm sitting in the meeting. I'm like, why am I here? Mm-hmm. There's no reason to be here. I have nothing to add to these conversations. Y'all are covering all the bases. We have enough people with the same knowledge. Mm-hmm. We don't all need to be here. So I'm sitting there. I sit in the meeting. I ask one question, mm-hmm. maybe two. And they're like, well, actually, this is why we do whatever. And I said, okay. And that was it. Mm-hmm. Now, I asked what I asked because I didn't really know why I asked mm-hmm. it. But what I wanted to get out of it was to determine what they knew. Mm-hmm. Because people will say this is why we do something. But if you get to the root of their real why, you're like, we can change that. We can make that better. If you know the root of something, you can improve it. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, okay. So we found out their why. I was like, bet. Let get home and figure out some solutions that match their needs. So we're building out customized solutions. We come back. You guys, I can't disclose how much money we made. I've just been running the financials. God is good. And that's what I'm going to say. But the thing was, it wasn't me. Mm-hmm. It wasn't what I was doing. It wasn't any of that. It was like the Lord was like, I have you here. Mm-hmm. I actually have you. Not just I have you here, but I have you in the midst of it. Mm-hmm. And so you're in this place that you can't control whether you're in it or not. Mm-hmm. But I have you and I'm holding you and I'm keeping you in that. And he just continued to show up. I'm like, we're going to lose this account. These people are going to do all this stuff, whatever. He comes through. I'm like, Lord, I text my family. I'm like, I need a miracle to happen. Like something is going awry.
We praying.
Everybody's praying. Things that do not happen is happening. Like, I'm like, how? This doesn't happen. Things don't move like this. This isn't how stuff is working. And it's just like when you hear about you read about Daniel praying and the angel comes, it's like your answer was already answered. The questions you had were already answered. I was just fighting to get to you. It was those kinds of things where I'm like, Lord, I'm praying about these things and they aren't happening instantly in this moment, but they were already a yes. Mm-hmm. It was already yes, but it took time for those things to happen because of the spiritual things going on. Mm-hmm. And so he was the Lord has just been showing himself faithful. So in that month, they tell me I can pick between the jobs. Well, I decide I'm going to stay in account management. It's what I know. It's what I'm comfortable with. It's where I'm growing. It's what I'm doing well. My boss, I say, okay, let me call her back. Well, I was praying about it before going into that call. I was like, I don't know. That day, my dad, he's never off. Like during the week, he was with me. And I was like, I don't know what I need to do. Now, mind you, I had already said I was going to do it, but I was like, I don't know what I need to do. And he was like, we'll just pray about it or whatever. And so he's like, Lord, give her wisdom. That's all he's like. He's just like, Lord, give her wisdom. That's it. Mm-hmm. And so I'm like, think on. And so I get on the call. I have the conversation with her. And I'm like, as I'm saying it, we're talking things through. It's so abstract. There's no details. She's like, make a decision with your eyes closed. Essentially, it was like left hand or right hand. and you don't know what either one is going to hold. I said, I'm going to stick with the enemy I know, which is what I'm already doing. Well, as I'm telling her, I would like to, I hear myself saying, go on the other team. My mind is saying, that's not what we discussed. That's not what you were planning on doing. What are you thinking? I say, I'm gonna go on the other team. So I say, yeah. So she says, okay, we'll go ahead and switch everything over. So I'm like, cool. I'm switching to the other team. The next week I'm on vacation. We're on our cruise. I get off, finally have cell service. I get an email talking about if you don't reach out to your leadership, and I'm like, I don't even know who my boss is anymore. I've switched teams and they wouldn't tell me anything. It was a decision in the dark. I don't even know who my new boss is. And she's like, okay, you need to contact your new boss immediately or you will be terminated by Friday. You'll receive your payout for the rest of the year, like all what you're supposed to pay. And because I am salary, I don't have, you know how you get paid vacation? They give us unlimited PTO, so they don't have to pay you out if you leave. And so I don't have any more PTO. They took all my time back. And I was like, so I wasn't going to get anything but my check. And I was like, what? So I messaged my old boss, new boss, whatever. I don't know what you call it because everything was a chaotic mess. So I messaged her and I'm like, look, I know we spoke about this and I already said what I was going to do. And she was like, yes, you're on vacation. I already knew this. I have no idea why they're reaching out to you. I'll resolve it. Well, I only have cell service for like 2 seconds. So all I can do is send her a text message and just leave it with God. And I said, well, that's Monday Carmen's problem. Hopefully I'm employed. And I got back on the cruise ship. And so
hold on to your comforter to the next stop.
Yeah, but I held on to the mattress, praying as we got to the next port. And so, but then when I got back, everything was resolved and everything like that. But the Lord was just really gracious in that whole situation. So I was like, I don't want to leave people in a lurch. I want to transition things out well and steward them well. So obviously I'm still transitioning a lot of it. I mean, it's a lot. That's still in process and in transition. But that was September. Now it's October. And that's where I'm at. I'm still in a transitionary period, passing all those things along. But that's from a work perspective. I haven't gone on any more trip. Yes, I did. We were in Tulsa
first week of October.
The first week of October.
First weekend of October.
First week in October. And then now this week going to Virginia. The end of this month, rolling into November, the first weekend in November. So busy girl. Busy girl.
Yeah. Troy, what have you been up to?
Y'all, it's too much to even say. I work at a lounge. It's been a process, so y'all pray for me.
Yes. So I know we're not going to go too in deep depth in that, but in getting this job, where do you see God growing you?
I don't even know where he's growing me. I just know that I'm seeing other people around me in the job act totally different than when I first came to the job. Like, because even when I was telling Carmen, and I think I told you too, that one of my coworkers was kind of acting like finicky and crazy one day. And then I was like, Lord, it's in your hands. Like, I was even getting to a point where I was like, let me pull this person to the side and ask the question, do you have like any offense with me? Like, did I offend you or anything? And I was like, you know what? I'm not even going to do that. I said, cast your burdens. And then I just walked around the job and I was just doing my thing. And that whole day, the person's like, their demeanor changed throughout the whole day. And then by the end of it, they were like, see you tomorrow. Now, since then, it's like, you have a good day, that kind of thing. So their whole demeanor changed. And so it might not just me being in the space, seeing God just change me in it. It's more so like me being able to see other people change, especially when I'm like, cast the burdens. And then you just
But do you think that it's God growing you? Because we all know that at one point we were like, they might not see you anymore at that place, and you were like, but God is keeping you. So and what was the
Because I didn't want to quit. You mean?
yes, I'm saying, but there was a level of maturity in that decision that you made. Like,
Well, no, it was really Carmen saying some things to me because she was like, Troy, you got to make the decision for yourself. I'm not going to make it for you or give you any advice on that.
Why you trying to make yourself sound like
That's literally how you sound. You're like, Troy, you got to make this decision for yourself because, and did you talk to God about it? And I'm like, yeah, I prayed about it, but I didn't get like no definitive answer. Well, if you didn't get a definitive answer, like you need to just listen to what God is saying. I'm not going to sway you to say one thing or the other. You just have to make that decision for yourself. And then in that moment, I was like, okay, it's a new place for me because I usually am like, okay, I can get some advice to like how I can proceed forward. But this time I'm not getting the answers from the situation. So I was just like
total dependence on God.
Total dependence on God because it was really like nobody else is going to give you what you want out of this situation. And I didn't even really want to talk to Daddy about it because I'm like,
you know what he's gonna say.
I already know what he's gonna say. He's not gonna give me the answer. So I was like, I'm just gonna stick with the job and do what I'm doing. And
I have a question. Why did you not talk to Mommy about it?
I did talk to Mommy about it a lot of times, and she was like, "Oh, Troy, it's a nightmare over there. Like, it's this, that, and the other." But it was like she wasn't technically giving me the answers that I wanted either.
She didn't say you need to do this.
You need to get out of it. But she has been saying like, Troy, you need to get out of there. You need to find something else. But she's going through her own things. She's saying similar sentiments as well. So she's like, you need to find something together. That's a little bit different. Like our feelings being different. But there's been a lot of things where I told Carmen when I started the job, I'm not going to stay there for a long period of time. I said, because I'm the type of person, I might hate it at the beginning and it might be the worst thing ever. But now it just kind of feels regular. I go in, I do what I do, and I'll just get comfortable there and just be like, I'm going to just stay on there and just take whatever $3 or $4 I'm getting and just staying with what I have and just be comfortable with that. Because I can make anything shake. There'll be months I'd be like, $50, I can really make that shape for multiple months.
$50 for multiple months.
No, it would be really.
I know what you mean. You can stretch $1.
You can stretch $1. You can make decisions. You know, I'm a homebody, so it doesn't matter.
He's like, I'm eating in tonight. What's for dinner?
So it was like, I am just going to stick it out, keep going, and yes, the money is coming in. Because when I was praying, it made me shift with how I was praying about things. Because I was like, I really just need something so I can have that consistent money coming in. Because photography is good, but it can be very lucrative, but it's ebbs and flows, and it's not always as consistent. So I was just like, okay, let me get this job. And the way I got the job was just crazy. Like, I didn't know what I was doing even into the first week. I was like, what is my actual job title? That kind of thing. But it's just kind of like, now I'm like, okay, I really had to lean on God. But I still don't think I'm going to be there for a very long time.
Yeah.
I think I feel like I'm nearing the end of it. Because I said I wanted to be going by the end of the year. If that, I said I'm not going to give them a full year. But then I was like, I don't even think I'm going to give them 6 months. And then I was like, I don't think I'm going to be there by the end of the year. But I wanted to be going by October. Like, beginning of October, I told Carmen the 2 weeks notice is going in. I was hanging out with friends and I would be like, I think I found, like, this is confirmation for, like, me putting in my 2 weeks notice. Like, this is the confirmation. I feel peace in this. And I do think I had peace because I was just talking it out and being like, oh, this is how I feel. And
but it might not have been the peace of God to move.
I don't even think it was the peace of God to move. It was just maybe like, that's the peace, but not for me to do it right now.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I'm sticking at the job. I'm just like, the Lord is also, He know what He is working on me because the way I approach things differently. I say stuff differently.
Yeah.
I like just in terms of like me interacting with people is a little bit different because when I look at the where I work, I'm like all of these people are better than where they
They are.
are.
Yeah.
I'm like, and sometimes you like be like, they're not doing their job, they're not working hard, they're not doing that. But I'm like, the potential is there.
Yeah.
I'm like, some people, I'm like, you can do better. Just act a little bit more professional, and you could be way farther than this. Other people are like this. They're looking in the future, and they're like, I'm gonna be here spring break. I'm like, y'all, I'm trying to peace out. And so I talk to other people too, and they're also like, I'm trying to get out and do other things. This is just like a holding spot. So I know other people who feel like, okay, this is just temporary. A lot of them see it as temporary.
Yeah.
Other people are like seeing this long term with, but I feel like they should be looking at it as temporary too.
Yes.
Because I'm like, you're better than where you're working right now. But it's just showing me a lot of like different things, working on me, patience.
But do you think you are gaining good skills that are transferable to anything else that you would do?
Sure. You could say that. I mean, it's not things that I haven't already done in the past. Like some of the stuff that I've done there, I've done previously. But it makes me see how you can run a business from a managerial standpoint where you value your workers. Because you see a lot of times these companies are doing just their doing people wrong. You hear from Carmen, they're furloughing people all the time. You're at the government, they doing crazy stuff to the employees too, saying it's not in policy to keep you down and all of these kinds of things. And I'm just like, I see it happening to the people here at the lounge, and I'm like, y'all are doing these people wrong, like in a lot of different ways, and they're the ones that's keeping you afloat, that y'all just don't know it. So it's like they don't really value you, but they'll like make it seem like they value you. Like they have like it's like a facade that they put on, especially with the new management and stuff that has come in, because y'all know it's been a little crazy. There's a lot of stuff that has been going down there, but it's just a lot is happening there. But I do feel like I do have skills that could be transferable, but it's not something just like
That you just learned.
yes, that I just learned that I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to take this in the next to the next job or whatever. Unless I get into something else and it's like, okay, that the lounge prepped me for this.
Yeah.
But overall, that has been like all consuming a lot, because I feel like I don't have time for anything, and other things feel like they're like slacking,
falling to the back burner.
So I've just kind of been like, you know what, it is what it is. But the Lord also has to move in a lot of other areas, because y'all know me, y'all see my spaces, and it's not the normal way, and I don't even like it like that. So I'm just kind of like,
Yeah.
but that also could play into all the stuff happening in the year, not having a whole lot of space, all that kinds of things. But there's a lot of things happening. But even some things that I heard in this podcast is like, keep praying for the things, or even the stuff that you were saying about Daniel. Like the prayer is already answered. I'm just fighting to get it to you, kind of thing. Because y'all know there's things that I have been wanting and praying for. But like over these past few weeks, I've just kind of been like, you know what? Even if I don't get it, I'm okay. You know, like it doesn't matter. Like, and a lot of things are starting to not matter to me like as much anymore. Because I'm just kind of like, that's not really that important in the grand scheme of things. And that's why I've been saying, you know, when my Tuesdays come around, I'm like, it feels like life can really happen.
Tuesday he comes down talking about, let's watch something, let's party, let's go out, whatever. He's like, I want to live on Tuesday.
Because it feels like it's farther away from when I start going back.
And you rested on Monday to get yourself back
together, because I still be doing stuff on Monday too. So it's kind of like finding that balance. And so that's been kind of like where I've been up to.
Yeah.
I do feel like I'm trying to transition out. But I think by Christmas, honestly, however Thanksgiving goes, it's going to be a real indicator.
Yeah, because you're off on Thanksgiving Day.
I'm not.
Just the morning.
I'm not off that whole weekend.
No, I'm saying, but we'll talk offline.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But lastly, you.
About?
Where
Where
you
you
are
are
now?
now after July?
Oh, after July, it was
Shook us
it
down,
was
baby.
it was a really interesting month because at the end of July, a really close friend of mine passed unexpectedly, and having to participate and get prepared for his homegoing was really, really hard because when you know someone is going through some things and you've been praying for them, sometimes you're like, God, you didn't answer the prayer in the way that I wanted you to answer it. But God can also show you that his healing is not always our healing. And his moments, his ways are not our ways. That's the thing. But I also saw that my friend in his short life, Priscilla Shire said something it's so interesting. One time she was talking about the length of life. She was like, a person who lives to be 80, you would say, oh, they've lived such a long life. But if they haven't done what God has called them to do and what he would want them to do, then they've lived such a short life because they've not done what God has called them to do. And someone who has lived to be a young age that we would consider young, if they've done the things that God has called them to do and made an impact and brought people to God, then they've lived a long life because they've done what God has called them to do. And so with my friend, he impacted so many people. He impacted me in such a way that I truly believe that his gifts were a blessing. And even still will have a ripple effect
Yeah.
in years to come. But that was really, really a sad thing. But it was also a place of freedom for me because I got to a place where I was like, I didn't care if people saw me in my place of grief. And I
Yeah.
didn't care if people saw me feeling my feelings. So it was like I didn't have to be so poised, and I didn't. I just was feeling my feelings in that moment at work, wherever people saw me. My coworkers like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "No, I'm not." But I was honest in that, and so get into a place of honesty. Then going into August, class, I had to retake my class again for the third time, so I'm in it now for the third time. But I went to a on-site residency for my doctoral program, and that was really a place where God showed me places where pride and humility, they war against each other in a very, and it's so easy to fall into pride, and it's not even a huge thing. So but he also showed me that he honors humility, and he asks you to humble yourself. You don't want God to humble you. And so it was a really good experience for me. I had really good conversation with the professors, methodologists, and the deans of the school, and I got to see their hearts and see where their minds were. And it also gave me opportunity to know what to pray for as well. I think sometimes we can go into things with blinders on, especially when people profess to be Christians and profess to be believers. We go in with blinders that they all know and read the word
Yeah.
and receive the word and process the word
Yeah.
in the same way that we, or that I have done this, that I process, read, and understand the word. I can see how sometimes people don't even realize that they can use the word to try to manipulate other people with
Yeah.
emotion and everything. So it was just a eye-opening experience. And but it also showed me that you have to respect those that are in authority over you, because God has put them in authority over you, if they are in a biblical context. But even those that are in authority over you that are not in a biblical context, and that if it is in a biblical context, there are certain rules and regulations that he has set in place of how you are to proceed when you interact with them, and how you act with them, and how you speak with them, and and so it when I say I learned so much in that, it was really, really good. And then we went to Chile, amazing. Went on the cruise, and like I said, that was a time where just prayer, praise, God was lifting some weights off. And like I said, I lost like 10, 15 pounds while I was on the cruise. Came back, got doing some schoolwork. School got crazy again. Had to listen to the Lord, to not fly off the handle and go and do things that might have burned some bridges. And just walk that out. And then also like continually seeing that I have to be diligent and I have to continue on. But in this moment, mommy told me something while I was at the residency. She was like, in this next portion, you have to be positive. You cannot be negative. She's like, a lot of times we have had in our family a tendency to look at the negative things that could potentially happen.
Yeah.
And go in that direction. Like, we'll say the good things, but we also see we see the contingency. You like,
it's hedging.
yeah, you hedge.
100%.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it is that. But she was like, you have to be positive. You have to speak the positive. You have to believe the positive, and you have to try your best in everything so that you're doing things in excellence. It's not just throwing something together. You gotta try to do your best. You have to walk in excellency. And I've been trying to do that. And trying to be positive in all the things. So keeping that mindset, not going to, when the negative wants to come, it's taking that negative thought and us really pushing it down and saying, okay, no, I'm believing this. This is what I'm believing. I'm not, when I look in the mirror and I see this week is not going the way that I want it to go, I'm like, you're making progress.
Yeah.
God has lifted that weight, that you don't have to take that weight on, because there are things that still will try to put weight back on the weight that he's lifted off. So the weight that I had was physical, but it was also spiritual weight. It was also emotional weight. It was also mental weight. And so I have to be positive and say, those things are not my weight.
Yeah.
I am not fat. I am not overwhelmed. I am full of joy.
Yeah.
I am spiritually strong. I am strong. I am not weak. And also, God has had me in this month in a place of rest, in a sense, rest from all the things that I have been saying I have to do, the things that I would go to and be a part of, and they're good things. But sometimes good things can become obligations and not God things anymore. They're just something that I'm doing.
Yeah.
And I really had to look at my why and how I was doing it and what is it that I desire out of extracurricular activities, hobbies. Because my hobbies are church and home and softball. And even in softball for the last 2 weeks, well, three Mondays out of this month we haven't played. We got rained out. I was out of town one day, and then the other one, it was like a fall break or something. And so they didn't have anything. So I wasn't playing softball, and the other team that I was on, the season ended. And so it was just like time of rest, just not doing anything, being at home, just sitting. Like, I know y'all haven't probably seen me this much in a long time, but I am at home. I've been home for like the last 3 weeks. I don't even think nobody really noticed. And I just been home in the evening and not having to go out. And I like it. But I also have to look at, is there other ways to manage and to do the things that I like and not just become sedentary or isolated, but also just to do what he's calling me to do. And then there was also moments of, like you saying, being really truly honest with God and saying, hey, here, this is where I'm at. This is what I'm thinking. Because like you said earlier on in the conversation, you were like, you had to keep telling yourself, like you had to let yourself know that Aunt Cheryl was really like the reality of the situation. That was where I was at, because it wasn't that it was like I really suppressed it. Like I would think about it and I'd be like, oh, and then it was like, I can't think about that because I don't want to be sad. So I'm not going to think about it. So I had compartmentalized what was happening, but it was actually affecting me on the back end. And so I had to turn that over to him. But God was then showing me, oh, you haven't released this over here either. And you haven't released this over here either. And so it was those weights he was lifting off of me. And then it was also like, I want to find places that are preaching the word of God, and to know that I know that they are preaching the word of God, and I am being spiritually fed in such a way that I'm growing, that it challenges me, that makes me think, that at the end of the week, I'm still thinking back to what I heard on that last Sunday, and then I get built up again on the next Sunday from what I so it was that. And so God had me, and I went, and I didn't go to church one Sunday, and it was a blessing because I got to rest, because I had been going, and I had wanted to go to Dallas, to go to a church in Dallas, but I didn't end up going. And I thought, man, maybe I should have gone. But then I was like, no, I needed that rest. I needed that moment to just sit, that Sabbath. I didn't do anything. I prayed and, I read the word. And then I just sat. And I spent time with the family, and I did all, and that was beautiful for me. That for the next week, it was getting me geared up for the next week. And then I was back on to the next thing and going and traveling again. So it was just, but in that, God has just been, he's been so gracious to me, because I've been doing all of this traveling, and I've been gone every weekend pretty much. And every trip that I've taken, I've met somebody, I've had a conversation with somebody. It may be quick, but he gave me a moment to pray for somebody, maybe not with them, but pray for them, and ask, and to see where their lives are, and say, God, just be gracious to them. Show them their love and kindness. Help me to have planted a seed, and that seed to be able to be watered, and then we can grow up, and then this person can know you. And then also just being in a place of just gratitude to be able to see his creation and the things that he has made, and how beautiful it is. And even though in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't really mean anything, because our whole purpose is to worship him and to praise him and to live for him. He created all of these things for us to enjoy. And so I have been enjoying them. And I've been realizing the things that I like, the places I like to go, what brings me joy, the things that really getting to know who I am in the aspects of not just the activities that I'm doing, but in the things that I really like to do, and like what is peaceful for me, what is joyful for me. I don't mind being by myself, but I do like being with people. I like the outdoors. I like going hiking. I like going to seeing different stuff. And I realized I like the mountains and like cool air and
Yes.
and all those kind of things. I knew I liked those things anyway, but I'm really seeing that those are my happy places.
Yeah.
Like my happy place is the beach. I love the beach. I love looking at the water.
Yeah.
But my real happy place is in a mountain somewhere.
Yeah.
Up, and it's cold and chilly, and I'm walking around and the air is clean and thin and just beautiful. Those are the things that I like. And so I'm thankful for that, and I'm thankful that God has opened those doors for me, and that the doors of the world are open to me, and I believe that that's where He has me, and in each of those places that it will be a time for me to. It's not. I think sometimes we get into, I need to share the gospel, and I need to go out and I need to tell everybody, but sometimes God is like, no, don't say anything about that. Let's talk to the person and get to know the person, and in that it then gets to be around those different things. Because I was having a conversation with a girl that was my waitress on Sunday, and we were talking, and I was like, yeah, I came and I wanted to go to church over here. I went to the East Point Church, and she was like, oh, I used to go there with my family. And I said, oh, okay. I said, you don't go there anymore? She's like, no, I haven't really had time. I said, so do you do anything different? Or do you still believe? Are you still reading your word? Are you still getting into, or are you doing something different? Mm-hmm. She bypassed that whole statement, and she went into, oh, I've just been in school. I just graduated. I did all these different things. And she said some things that were very key to it. I said, oh, okay. I don't know your whole family situation. I don't know all the different things. But now I can say, God, she knows who you are. Mm-hmm. She may have been hurt, or she may have been disconnected from you. But God, just bring her back. Give her grace. And allow her to get into a community that can speak life into her and speak your word into her.
Yeah.
In Jesus' name, amen. And it was so joyful. I was like, oh, this is beautiful. This is beautiful because I know that God can do it. Mm-hmm. She worked literally 3 minutes away from the church.
Yeah.
That she used to go to.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, God, you know the situation. I know because through the Holy Spirit, you've shown me this.
Yeah.
I know. And so because of that, and you sent me here to pray. And so now I can think about her when she comes to mind and pray.
Yes.
And just that one thing, I know that those prayers, God hears it and He's working it out. And so I don't have to think about it. And so like in to think about it in the way of I have to always be out here and you need to read the word and you need to do the Sometimes it's just seeing somebody, hearing what they are saying and saying, I'm praying for you.
Yeah.
God loves you and I'm praying for you. And they'll be like, you gonna pray for me? And then sometimes it's praying in that moment, saying, let's pray together.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, you want to pray with me right now? And so it's just being open to listening to the Holy Spirit in the moments that He calls us to act, and to move and to be silent and to listen. And I think that's so from the beginning of the year to now, I'm in process, as you said. I'm in process, but I'm truly understanding and finding where God has me. And I know for a fact that once I'm done in May, because I will be done in May with my degree, graduating, walking across the stage.
Yes.
When I'm done with that, I'll be done with going to school. Like going to school for me, but I don't think I'll be done with school. Mm-hmm. So I'm excited about that. But I am also just thankful that Daddy told me not to stop at the beginning of the year and keep pushing, even though I was like, he just told me to keep pushing, and I kept pushing.
It was my cry for help, and he didn't hear me. Yeah.
And it was like, it wasn't that he didn't hear me. He heard me, but he was also like, I also know if you stop, you won't keep going.
Yeah, you never know like where it may leave you or end up, even though if you don't complete it. So I think that was a great conversation, very lengthy. We'll probably split this in half, right? Part one, part two. But yeah, that's where we've been. Absentee, but I think for valid reason.
But growing at the same time.
Yes, growing at the same time. And even though this is the end of Candid Conversations, or about to be the end of Candid Conversations, we have exciting things in the pipeline, which we'll talk about at some point. But I'm thankful for what the Lord has been doing for us in our lives, where we are after all of the things that have occurred. I think it's just been His grace on us, and yeah, I think I'm just thanking the Lord. So with that said, we will see you all in the next one.
And the next one.
Peace.